Hello, my name is Christensen. I'm a coffee writer and Q-grader from Denmark. I run the coffee website called the Coffee Chronicler, where I teach people how to brew specialty coffee at home, take them through different kind of products and give them more insights into the beans that you don't really hear in mainstream media. I started roasting coffee at home when I was only like a big teenager, basically. So I've been pretty geeky about coffee for at least a decade. Then I started getting into writing about coffee seriously 4 years ago when I started my first coffee blog in Denmark. And since I'm a journalist, it made sense to combine my two passions of writing and coffee brewing. That's how I really got involved. And then the beautiful thing about specialty coffee is once you get involved in like a little bit of it, it kind of like just drags you in. Now there's no turning back. I think when you get into coffee, you have this, you're kind of like on the quest for the perfect cup of coffee. And you always think you can push it a little bit further. And then as you experiment, you try new beans, you try new brewing methods, there's always something you can make a little bit better. And I think that just that pursuit of the perfect cup of coffee, it just keeps taking you new places. And even though I had like many great cups of coffee over the years, that search is still kind of like what drives me. Like, is there a new grinder that can push my extraction higher? Is there a new filter for the AeroPress that can make it just like a tiny bit better? And so I think it's kind of like the same thing that gets people hooked on like wine or craft beer. It's just like there's so many different flavors you can experience, and that's like really the beauty of specialty coffee. Recently I had an extremely good pacamara from a Swedish coffee roaster, a new coffee roaster called Morgan Coffee from Gothenburg. It was kind of like just at that perfect fine line between being like very light roast, but still being developed, being easy to brew, very sweet in the cup. I have a personal history with the pacamara coffee because it's kind of like the first varietal I got really hooked on. So every time I see that name on a coffee bag, I need to buy it because it's just such a unique bean. It's originally from El Salvador. Now it's grown in multiple countries in Latin America. It's a bean that's famous for being bigger than other coffee beans, like physically. It's a mix of a varietal called Pacas and Maragogipe. And Maragogipe is like the largest Arabica coffee bean we have. So the offspring, pacamara, is also very large. And it's kind of funny because in the cup it's like a big coffee, like it's big bodied, very juicy and bittersweet aftertaste. So that's my favorite. It's not as famous as the geisha coffee. It's less floral. It's more of a, I would say, like coffee connoisseur's coffee, because it has a lot of like the same interesting properties. It has like a very prominent body, and often it has like a kind of like a bittersweet aftertaste that's just like so delicious. So yeah, if you're into the fruity stuff, maybe you should stick with the geishas and Ethiopian coffee. But if you really want to see a more old-fashioned coffee that's just really good at being old-fashioned, it's the pacamara.